Hello everybody, it's March 29th. It's a Friday. It's about 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I just wanted to talk about basic attention token real quick. Had a pretty significant price move today. So I thought it'd be a good idea to kind of do a TA on this and take a look at where we could be going here. Looking at the weekly chart, I've drawn some levels that I think are significant price points here. We've seen that this 18.5 cent range here has been very generous to those who are patient. You know, we've come down here quite a few times, especially in March 2018, again in June, August, October. These were all great times to buy around 18 cents because every time the price comes down to these levels, you know, we see some form of rejection, some form of upside movement. You know, for example, here these weeks, you know, that's 44% in a week. Pretty good, right? You could have done that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks in a row. This last week, huge move up to 46 cents. So, you know, if you're patient with BAT, this is one of those coins that you can just trade the levels and you're going to be profitable. So, anyway, with the weekly chart here, you can see we've just been forming this descending triangle for quite some time now, and just now recently this year in March we finally made a clean break of this first trend line resistance, but more significantly now here in April 2019 we are finally starting to poke our head out of what I'm calling the trap zone. Just based on these rejections here back in November and April of last year. You see these huge rejections we get here, so you just take your trend line, move it parallel to the wick, and that will give you kind of your trap zone where you know that at any point in the zone price could reverse. So breaking out of this is very significant. You can see the volume this week is almost double what it was last week. So very good signs here, very bullish signs here on BAT. Just want to take a look at moving averages real quick. Moving averages, you know, they're all starting to converge, break above the 34. Price is well above the 55, and again breaking the trend line here. Very bullish week this week for BAT for sure. Just take a look at momentum. Oh yeah, momentum is very high. The highest we've seen. This is the calculated USD pair with using Binance. And you can see momentum here. Our RSI, our weekly RSI, is in the high 60s, you know, 67. Never has it been this high on this chart at least. And also the MACD, you can see the signal line is breaking above zero. The histogram just steady upward movement. Lots of good volume here. Very bullish right now on BAT. Switch to the daily chart now. Just kind of zoom in here and let's see what's going on with this breakout. Try to get a sense of, is this going to be a true breakout? Are we going to end up falling back into this channel here? You can see this rejection. You know, when I first looked at this chart this morning, you know, this thing looked more impressive with really no wick. You know, the candle body was up here, but at the time I wasn't able to make the video. So since then we've kind of rejected, but that's expected. You know, you can't make a move like this. What did we do today? You know, 24%. You can't really move 24% and not expect some profit taking. So that doesn't really concern me. You look at this volume. I mean, volume is just rising. We're well above average. You know, here's where your smart money bought in. Back here, you know, a lot of sells too, but also a lot of buys. And once we broke out of here, that's when, volume really started picking up about midway through this range, and we busted through this trend line with good volume. So this right now is looking like a very clean trend line break. Again, very bullish. Just take a look at moving averages. You can see everything's fanning out to the upside just beautifully. We've broken above the 200. The 55 is getting ready to cross over the 200. That's known as the golden cross. That's a very bullish sign, especially on a daily chart. The moving averages themselves are also breaking above this previous resistance line at 18 cents. So again, more bullish signs. Just looking really good. We can take a look at momentum here on the daily chart. Now this is a little concerning, but only slightly. It's perfectly fine that we're in these zones, but you can see we're up to the 86 on the daily RSI. So we're really overbought here. You can see we're kind of getting to a resistance point. Last time we saw this was actually last year, almost around this time in April. The RSI got up to around 86, and now we're also hitting like 86, 87, getting some rejection here. So it wouldn't be surprising to me if we kind of reject a little bit here. It would make sense to kind of come down and retest this trend line. So we would expect a pullback here, but that's a good thing. It'll make it a good buying opportunity for those who missed this move. If you're looking to buy, buying along this trend line would be a good idea. So momentum, strength is very high right now. What I would like to see is some form of retracement on the RSI to kind of test these levels of support, and then a bounce off of 70, kind of keeping in this range. And it's perfectly fine if we stay in this range for a little while, and we can even come out and we can even come back in, as long as we start making some higher highs, or at least double topping, or anything along those lines. So let me just get rid of these lines here. What else do we want to look at? We can take a look at some Fibonacci extensions. Again, just try to get a sense of support, resistance, and maybe some targets of where we can expect some reactions. What I might do is I'll take this retracement tool and use those extensions. Let's just assume a close here, and we can see that the 236 is just lining up perfectly around 33 cents, and that makes sense to test this level. We didn't quite get there, so maybe this is just where we end up at 32 cents again, which is fine. Again, wouldn't be surprised wherever we do end up closing. We would want to see a retrace to at least this 236 region. That would be a very bullish retrace. We could also retrace to the 382. Even the 618 is fine, because you can see we have this level here at 18 cents. But ultimately, we want to kind of know where we're going. So if we just look up, a 1-to-1 extension of the move we've made now takes us up to around 47 cents, which matches up to one of the levels I have here. So that's just beautiful confluence as far as fib extensions are concerned. And looking at targets, I would say target 1 would be here at this 618, 40 cents. Target 2 could be at 47 cents, and target 3 could be at 58 cents. So overall, what kind of move are we talking about here? Just looking strictly, if we were to buy a retrace at the 236 and we took it all the way up to the 168, you're talking 135% gain. Even profit target 2 is a 90% gain, and even profit target 1 is a 65% gain. So BAT is just looking really good right now on the daily chart, on the weekly chart. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour chart. What I'm mainly going to be want to look at here is what I'm looking for here is divergence of any kind. So yeah, what we are seeing is, let me get rid of these lines, they're a little distracting. What we are seeing is we're making much higher highs on price, but we are kind of hitting a ceiling here on the RSI. So to me, that is looking a little like bearish divergence. We're making triple top here, higher highs on price. MACD is double topping, getting ready to cross over. Histogram is kind of looking bearish, downward pressure here on the histogram. So, not surprising if we see a retrace here. Some people might be thinking about selling here and maybe buying back on a retrace. Never a bad idea. What I want to see as far as 4-hour RSI is concerned, same thing. We can stay in this zone above 70. That's perfectly fine. Even find support down here at 60. We could really go as low as 40 and be good on the 4-hour chart. This MACD signal line, same thing. It wouldn't be surprising to see this kind of curve down. Wouldn't be bad to find support at the 0 line, come back up, maybe even potentially go below the 0 line a bit and kind of start getting some downward movement here as we move higher, and that'll kind of signal that this uptrend is starting to end. And if we see that around some of our profit targets, then we know that those profit targets are confirmed, and it's not a bad idea to take profit at that point. And leaving a little bit left in case things go higher. So everything's just looking really bullish right now. Looking at the 2-hour chart, again, just looking at momentum. Momentum's looking good. We got some support here in this trend line. You can see that trend line's holding. Looking a little weak right now with volume dropping, but again, it just confirms that we might see a retrace coming up, which is perfectly fine. It would be a healthy retrace. So I'm not really going to go much further than the 2-hour chart on this. What I do want to look at are some moving averages. I didn't look at the 4-hour moving averages. Just take a look at that. Yeah, look at that. Just beautiful fanning out on the moving averages, but we are getting overextended. So we need to kind of come back down to this trend line here where we have, the 8, the 13, even the 21. Any bounce off of one of these first 3 is healthy for the uptrend, perfectly fine. The uptrend kind of starts to end when we start testing these 34, 55, and we start kind of breaking below the 55 and back up. That's when the uptrend kind of starts ending. So yeah, that's what we're kind of looking at on BAT. It's just looking really good now. And yeah, so I'm going to end up posting this chart with some targets. I'll go ahead and throw the fib extension back up and just kind of mark some profit targets along the way and some potential buybacks and things like that. So yeah, that's that. See you guys on the next one.